I got hit by a taxi and went flying over 50 yards. The big man upstairs, tired of how miserable my last life was, kicked me back to earth. My life was saved, but I'd lost my memory. When I woke up, a woman as beautiful as an angel was standing by my bedside, her eyes red-rimmed. "Honey, you're awake?" I stared at her, then looked down at my own perfect body, 8-pack abs and a clear V-line. I was an amnesiac, but my body told me this was definitely the physique of a winner. But soon, an ice-cold CEO showed up, claiming she was my fiancée. I was confused, but my body again told me. Being near my girlfriend made me excited. Being near my fiancé made me want to run. Who should I trust? I only trusted my body. When I woke up, blinding white light filled my vision. It wasn't the eerie white of the afterlife, but the sterile glare of operating lights on a hospital ceiling. "Honey, you're finally awake." A voice choked with tears, then a face leaned in close. I'll admit, after my brief tour of the afterlife, where the cosmic administrator told me my last life was bitter as bile and he was kicking me back to enjoy myself, seeing this face made me think, if this is enjoying myself, I'd gladly get hit by a car again. Jessica Miller. That was my first instinct. She had wide, clear doe eyes, red at the corners, with long lashes still beaded with tears. She wore a cream-colored knit sweater, exuding a gentle warmth that could melt anyone's heart. "Oh, are you?" I managed, my voice raspy. Jessica froze, a tear finally falling. "It's Jess, your girlfriend." "My girlfriend?" I tried to remember. My mind was a complete blank, like it had been factory reset. I raised a hand and touched my head. "Don't move." Jessica quickly caught my hand. Her fingertips were soft and warm, carrying a sweet, lovely scent. I looked at her, then down at my body. 8-pack abs, a clear V-line, smoothly defined arm muscles. "This is me." I pointed at myself, asking her. Jessica broke into a tearful laugh. "Yes, you work out every day. Don't you like it?" "Like it? I loved it." Ethan Walker, a corporate drone crushed by work in my last life, now had the body of a millionaire and an angelic girlfriend. The big man upstairs hadn't lied to me. "Jess," I said, the name tasting sweet on my tongue. "I have amnesia. Tell me everything about myself." Jessica nodded immediately, her eyes full of tenderness and concern. "It's okay. I'll take care of you," she said, her gaze sweeping over my chest. The next second, her hand boldly pressed against me. I sucked in a sharp breath. My body instantly tensed. The warmth and softness of her fingertips, through the hospital gown, transmitted clearly to my skin. What are you doing?" I nearly jumped. Jessica blinked, innocent with a hint of mischief. "Just checking your abs, seeing if they're hurt." She showed no shyness, completely natural and open. My cheeks started to burn, and a powerful flush of heat surged deep within me. I had amnesia, but my body was very honest. "Jess," I cleared my throat, my voice uncharacteristically deep. "That's not really appropriate." "What's not appropriate?" "We're boyfriend and girlfriend," she said playfully, giving my abs another squeeze. At the ward door, 2 young nurses were trying to stifle giggles, their faces beet red. "Oh my gosh, they're so sweet, and that body. She's so bold, just going for it." I quickly pulled the sheet up, covering my abs. Jessica giggled, leaning in close to my ear, her voice syrupy sweet. "Honey, your special name for me is Sweetheart, and mine for you is Babe." "Got it, Babe." That name was seriously embarrassing, but looking at her angelic face, I couldn't bring myself to refuse. Just then, the ward door was pushed open. A chill instantly swept through the room. The newcomer wore a sharp, custom-tailored black suit. She had a sleek bob, exquisite features, and eyes colder than Arctic ice. This was Catherine Thorne. My body instantly recoiled with a strong sense of rejection. Not disgust, but wariness, like encountering a solid slab of basalt. "Ethan Walker, faking amnesia? What game are you playing now?" Catherine spoke, her voice like shards of ice clinking together. She held a document in her hand and tossed it directly onto my bed. "This is the annulment agreement. I don't have time for your drama with Thorne Enterprises' current messes." I looked at the document, then at my sweetheart Jessica beside me. Who was I? Where was I? And who was this ice-cold CEO? Jessica's smile faded, but she immediately linked her arm through mine, pressing close to me, asserting her claim. Ms. Thorne, Ethan has amnesia right now. Please watch your words. Also, we're already together. That engagement should have been called off ages ago. Catherine's gaze swept over Jessica's arm wrapped around mine, her eyes filled with disdain and contempt. Jessica Miller, how long do you think he can last? Walker Industries' cash flow is nearly broken. He's completely out of his depth in business. She turned, leaving with a chilling parting shot. Sign it, Ethan. Don't try to use such a cheap pity play to buy yourself more time. I watched her retreating back, a wave of confusion washing over me. I had amnesia, but my body told me, I like this sweetheart. As for that ice-cold CEO, she just made me feel exhausted. Walker Industries' cash flow was about to snap. I just got in the body of a winner. Was I already going to go bankrupt? Babe, don't listen to her. Jessica squeezed my hand, her eyes full of complete trust. I believe in you. Even if the company goes under, we can still go make our own whiskey, work out, and live the life we want. My heart warmed. This was an angel girlfriend. Sweetheart, you're the best. I couldn't resist pressing a kiss to her forehead. Just then, the ward door was pushed open again. This time, a man in a sharp suit and gold-rimmed glasses rushed in, holding a tablet. His name was Alex Chun, my trusted assistant. Mr. Walker, it's great you're awake. I just finished implementing your lying flat directives from the past 2 days. Alex was so excited he looked like he might cry. Me? Lying flat directives? Alex pushed up his glasses, his eyes firm. Yes. Before the accident, didn't you say, I'm too tired lately, just let the company run itself? I just want to lie flat. My inner monologue. I just wanted to enjoy life, not let the company run itself. So what happened? I asked. Alex's face showed a fanatical expression. The result? The moment you lay flat, Thorne Enterprises launched a hostile takeover attempt against Walker Industries. But Mr. Walker, you are brilliant and strategic. I'm brilliant and strategic. I had amnesia. I couldn't remember doing anything. Didn't you secretly acquire a batch of original shares in a chip company a while back? You said it was just for fun investing. Alex's voice was filled with adoration. He handed me the tablet, displaying a striking line of numbers. Catherine Thorne thought our cash flow was broken. But this morning, those for-fun original shares skyrocketed 300 times overdue to the new energy policy announcement. I stared at the string of numbers, my pupils contracting sharply. 300 times. I made 300 times my money by lying flat. Alex lowered his voice with a hint of triumph. Ms. Thorne just said our cash flow was broken. She has no idea we're now sitting on liquid assets enough to buy out her Thorne Enterprises. Jessica looked at me, her eyes full of pride. See, babe, I told you you'd be fine. Catherine Thorne's contempt was instantly shattered by Alex's slap in the face. I looked at Alex, then at Jessica. I had amnesia, but I realized my subordinate understood me better than I did, and my girlfriend believed in me more. Alex continued his report. Mr. Walker, when you said, let the company run itself last time, I understood your deeper meaning. You meant to create a sense of crisis among the high-level executives, to make them compete fiercely with each other, so the company would run faster. Me? Inner monologue. I just wanted to sleep. Now, our core executives are already competing wildly for the title of Mr. Walker's most hassle-free subordinate. They pulled all-nighters, planned out the next 5 years of business, ensuring you can truly lie flat and relax. My scalp tingled. This subordinate was way too effective. Alex picked up the annulment agreement, pinching it with his fingers as if it were trash. Mr. Walker, Ms. Thorne isn't worthy. She only saw your surface, but couldn't see through your great wisdom hidden in simplicity, strategic layout. True strength is calmly choosing your own pace. Alex tore the agreement to shreds. Don't worry, I'll arrange your discharge paperwork immediately. What you need most right now is to go home, rest well with Ms. Miller, and enjoy life. I watched Alex's retreating back, then looked at Jessica. Sweetheart, isn't this developing a bit fast? I whispered. Jessica wrapped her arms around my waist, laughing like a cat who'd caught a mouse. Not fast at all, babe. You're just always this amazing. Come on, let's go home. My bed is way more comfortable than this hospital's. Feeling the softness of her body, a warm current surged through me again. Home, with my angelic girlfriend. Catherine Thorne's crisis had been instantly neutralized by my lying flat strategy. After being discharged, I moved directly into Jessica's house. Jessica was an only child, pampered by her parents. Her family background was even more prominent than the Thornes, a truly top-tier elite family. The Millers' estate nestled by a lake, the decor warm and sweet, filled with all sorts of cute, cuddly items Jessica loved. "Babe, I made you some soup." Jessica, wearing an adorable apron, ran over and hugged me. Her hug nearly squeezed the air out of me. "Sweetheart, your home is really cute," I sincerely complimented. That evening, Jessica took me to meet her parents. Mr. and Mrs. Miller were heartbroken to hear about my amnesia, but their attitude toward me was like I was their own son. "Babe, don't feel any pressure. Jess loves you, and we trust her judgment," Mrs. Miller said gently. Mr. Miller poured me a glass of his homemade aged spirit. "I heard you like brewing. This is my treasured family reserve. Try it." I took the glass and sniffed. A rich, mellow aroma instantly invigorated me. "Sir, this is exquisite," I exclaimed. It seemed I truly had a unique fondness for fine spirits. Jessica sat beside me, serving me food the entire time, occasionally touching my arm. Mrs. Miller gently reminded her, "Jess, serving Ethan is fine, but don't keep touching him. He has amnesia. He might get shy." Jessica didn't care in the slightest, directly pinching my abs in front of her parents. "Mom, he's my honey. What's wrong with touching him? All these muscles, I supervise their training." I blushed with embarrassment, but my heart swelled with sweetness. This unconditional affection and trust made me, the amnesiac imposter, feel an unprecedented sense of security. Mr. and Mrs. Miller exchanged glances, smiling helplessly. "That girl, she's always clung to Ethan since she was little." Mr. Miller shook his head. After dinner, I returned to my room and checked my phone for news. Sure enough, Catherine Thorne's side had started to move. Headline news: Walker Industries heir Ethan Walker in car accident. Mental state raises concerns. The comments section was abuzz. Gossip under Ms. Thorne really got a raw deal. Her fiancé's a playboy, and now he's crazy. Gossipmonger B. Walker Industries is doomed. Dump the stock fast. I just finished reading when Alex's call came in. "Mr. Walker, did you see it? Catherine Thorne is waging a PR war." Alex's voice was filled with fury. "Ignore it. I just want to lie flat." I lay on the soft bed, too comfortable to move. Alex was silent for 2 seconds. Then his voice suddenly became excited. "I understand. Mr. Walker, this is your laissez-faire strategy. You want to tell the market you don't care about public opinion, because your strength is enough to crush everything." Me? Right, exactly that. Inner monologue. I just wanted to sleep. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Alex's voice was full of adoration. "I'll have the PR department release a statement, blow this whole thing up, attract more attention. Then, tomorrow, we'll hit them back with actual performance." I hung up, feeling like my subordinate was more of a boss than I was. The next morning, when I woke up, Jessica was already snuggled beside me, her cheeks flushed. "Babe, look at the trending topics." She excitedly shook me. I picked up my phone and saw the top trending topic. Walker Industries stock soars due to CEO's amnesia. It turned out Alex's PR statement from last night had interpreted my lying flat as strategic decentralization and my amnesia as seeing through worldly desires and focusing on core business. What was even more explosive was that he directly announced the profits from those new energy chip original shares. Walker Industries stock immediately hit its daily limit. Gossipmonger C. Holy crap. Is Mr. Walker just casually showing off? Winning even while lying flat. Gossipmonger D. I take back everything I said yesterday. Mr. Walker is a true genius. Catherine Thorne's PR war instantly transformed into fervent adoration for my lying flat and winning. I looked at the sunlight outside the window, unable to help but sigh. Turns out my life script was, the more I lie flat, the more I win. To maintain my fitness enthusiast persona, Jessica dragged me to a top-tier private gym. The moment we walked in, I was dazzled by all sorts of high-tech equipment. Babe, you used to love breaking a sweat here, Jessica said, smiling. I looked at myself in the mirror, my 8-pack abs gleaming healthily under the lights. Jessica changed into a sports bra and leggings, her figure perfectly showcased. She was like walking pure energy. She walked over to me, hooked a finger. Come on, teach me how to do ab exercises. My heart raced. This kind of close contact instruction was practically a fatal temptation for an amnesiac straight man. We started doing crunches. Jessica lay on the mat, letting me hold her legs. Babe, steady. I feel like I'm going to fly away, she purred. I crouched down, my palms resting on her soft knees. You slowed down. I tried to keep my voice calm. Jessica suddenly sat up, leaning close to my face. Babe, why are you blushing? I stammered. She laughed like a little devil, directly reaching out, and through my t-shirt touched my abs. Honey, your body is absolutely amazing, she praised. The men and women working out around us all stopped their movements, secretly peeking at us. Oh my gosh, they're perfect together. That guy's so restrained. He's not even kissing her. I quickly grabbed Jessica's hand and pulled her up. Sweetheart, we're doing proper exercise. I try to control my body's reaction. Okay, proper exercise. Jessica nodded obediently, but her eyes were full of mischief. She pulled me to the weights section. I started doing pull-ups, grabbing the bar with one hand, my muscles instantly flexing. Jessica stood below, arms crossed, looking up at me, her eyes full of admiration and love. Just then, a stunning woman walked over, trying to flirt with me. Excuse me, sir. Your physique is incredible. Could you teach me a set of exercises? Before I could even speak, Jessica immediately grabbed a towel from nearby and tossed it directly over me. Sorry, my husband's body is only for my eyes. Jessica's voice was sweet, but carried an undeniable possessiveness. She walked directly in front of me, using the towel to wipe my sweat, her movements intimate and natural. The other woman's face stiffened, and she awkwardly walked away. Jessica looked up, giving me a sweet smile, then whispered in my ear, Babe, I'm jealous. My heart warmed, and I hugged her, whispering back, Don't worry, my body only belongs to you. Just as we were having our sweet moment, a familiar figure appeared at the gym entrance. Catherine Thorne. She wore an athletic windbreaker, clearly there to work out. She saw us. Jessica looked up and gave Catherine a victorious smile. Then, she stood on tiptoes and pressed a loud kiss to my cheek. Catherine's face instantly darkened. A complex emotion flashed in her eyes, disdain, but more, an indescribable jealousy and envy. She saw the tenderness and indulgence Ethan showed Jessica, something she had never experienced. Catherine didn't come in. She just stood at the entrance, staring fixedly at us. I could feel her icy gaze, but my body, in Jessica's embrace, felt the utmost warmth. Catherine turned and left the gym. Jessica finally let go of me, laughing like a cat who'd gotten the cream. Babe, you're amazing. I looked at her, and a strong sense of possessiveness suddenly surged within me. Love isn't about finding a perfect person. It's about falling in love with an imperfect person and enjoying all the sweetness they bring you. A few days later, Catherine Thorne came calling herself. This time, she didn't go to the Miller's estate, but directly to Walker Industries headquarters. Alex tried to block her at the office door, but Catherine's aura was too strong, and Alex couldn't fully stop her. Ethan Walker, you must sign this collaboration proposal personally. Catherine tossed a thick business contract onto my desk. She thought I was faking amnesia and intended to expose me with this extremely complex contract. This is the core agreement for our two companies, Thorne and Walker, to jointly develop a new energy project over the next 2 years, involving hundreds of millions in capital flow. Catherine's voice was icy, with a hint of challenge. If you really have amnesia, you won't be able to sign it. I had amnesia. I couldn't understand any of it. I opened the contract, and the dense clauses made my head ache. Jessica sat on the sofa beside me, playing a game on my phone. Sweetheart, do you think I should sign? I asked Jessica. Jessica didn't even look up. Babe, what do you think? If you think it'll make money, sign it. Catherine's face turned ugly. She expected Jessica to advise caution. Ethan Walker, this is a $100 million deal, not child's play. Catherine raised her voice. I looked at Jessica's trusting face and suddenly felt that since I could win by lying flat, I might as well just give it a shot. I picked up a pen, casually flipped to a page, and signed my name. Signed, I said, pushing the contract back. Catherine stared at me in shock. She never expected me to be so reckless. Are you crazy? You didn't even read it. Read what? I trust my subordinate. I pointed to Alex at the door. Alex immediately rushed in. Seeing my signature, his eyes glowed with fanatical light. He picked up the contract and quickly flipped through it. Mr. Walker, you truly are a genius. Alex's voice trembled. Catherine sneered. He signed randomly. What genius could you possibly see? Alex pushed up his glasses, pointing to the page I'd signed. Ms. Thorne, look. In your contract, you deliberately hit a critical breach clause on page 99, line 99. Catherine's face instantly went pale. This was a trap she had meticulously set to prevent Ethan from backing out. Alex continued excitedly, but Mr. Walker? He didn't read the content. He simply signed on page 99. His signature position perfectly covered that breach clause. Catherine, that's just a coincidence. Alex shook his head, his tone full of reverence. No, this is no coincidence. Mr. Walker deeply understands that trust is the foundation of business cooperation. He used his signature to express trust in Thorne Enterprises. But the position of his signature, in a physical way, suppressed your trap. What do you call this? This is using trust as a sword, and position as a shield. Alex looked at me, his eyes practically worshiping me. Mr. Walker, you're telling Catherine Thorne, I trust you, but I know you have petty tricks, and I'm using my presence to suppress you, so you can't move. Me. Inner monologue. I just found an empty space to sign. Alex's words were resonant, echoing in the spacious office. Catherine's reason told her this was absolutely a coincidence. But the facts before her were like a heavy hammer, smashing all her confidence and judgment. Ethan Walker. Catherine's voice trembled slightly, an emotion woven with anger and confusion. I shrugged, leaning back in my chair, looking utterly relaxed. Ms. Thorne, don't get so worked up. Work can be exhausting. You need to learn to lie flat. Jessica put down her phone, walked over, and draped her hands over my shoulders, gently massaging them. Babe's right. What's more important than rest? Ms. Thorne, you don't look so good. Maybe you should take a vacation too. Jessica's tone was gentle, but every word was like a needle pricking Catherine's heart. Catherine stared intently at me, her eyes filled with scrutiny. She wanted to find even a hint of weakness on my face, but I only showed frankness and relaxation. Ethan Walker, do you think this is over? She gritted out. True strength isn't about how much power you hold, but how many obsessions you let go of. I casually repeated Alex's motivational quote to me, and it worked surprisingly well against Catherine. Catherine clenched her fists sharply. She couldn't accept that a trap she had spent weeks designing had been so lightly defused by me, and that I had even turned around and lectured her. She picked up the contract and left the office without looking back. Alex excitedly gave me a thumbs up. Mr. Walker, you're magnificent. That's winning without fighting. Jessica leaned in, breathing softly into my ear. Babe, you were so hot just now. Feeling her warm breath, that familiar surge of heat instantly returned to my body. Sweetheart, let's go home. I need to continue lying flat. I grabbed her hand, squeezing it suggestively. Alex immediately understood. Mr. Walker, I'll arrange your exclusive downtime right away. Any meetings or documents will be postponed until you wake up. My inner monologue. This subordinate truly is my personal comfort blanket. To celebrate Walker Industries' stock hitting another all-time high and to raise funds for Jessica's Charity Foundation, we attended the city's most prestigious charity gala. This very gala was organized by Catherine Thorne. The moment we entered, I felt the gaze of countless eyes. I wore a black tuxedo Jessica had chosen for me, which perfectly accentuated my physique. Jessica, on the other hand, wore a stunning off-the-shoulder starry blue gown, looking every bit the goddess, elegant and sweet. We walked hand in hand, like a prince and princess from a fairy tale. Bystanding young women began to whisper and squeal. Oh my gosh, Mr. Walker is so handsome. Those abs, you can feel them through the suit. Ms. Miller is gorgeous. They're basically a public display of favoritism standing together. Jessica seemed to enjoy being the center of attention. She leaned her head slightly, whispering in my ear, "Babe, eat a lot later. I prepared some little snacks for you." Feeling her breath and soft body, my mind began to wander. Just then, Catherine Thorne walked over. She wore a silver-gray gown, noble and cold, like an ice queen detached from worldly affairs. Ethan Walker, Jessica Miller. Catherine's voice carried a tone of condescending scrutiny. "Ms. Thorne, long time no see." Jessica's smile was radiant, her arm firmly linked through mine, as if asserting her claim. Catherine's gaze lingered for a second on the spot where Jessica touched me, then shifted away. "Mr. Walker, I hear since your amnesia, your appreciation for fine food and spirits has reached new heights." Catherine's tone held a hint of mockery. She knew I liked homemade spirits, but she wanted to use the sophisticated culture of Western wine tasting to put me down. "Not really. I'm just interested in what makes me comfortable," I replied casually. Just then, a waiter approached with a tray, on which sat several glasses of top-tier burgundy red wine. "Mr. Walker, this wine is one of the auction items tonight, limited to 10 bottles worldwide. Perhaps you'd care for a taste." Catherine offered me a glass. I took the glass and sniffed. My body instantly recoiled. "I don't care for wine," I said directly, placing the glass back on the tray. Catherine's lips curved into a sneer. "Mr. Walker, it seems the rumors are true. You only like those rustic whiskeys and simple homebrews. You truly can't appreciate such refined tastes." A ripple of low murmurs spread through the crowd. Catherine had successfully created an awkward situation, trying to make me look foolish. Jessica immediately stepped forward to defend me. "Ms. Thorne, Babe just doesn't like red wine. He loves the rich tradition of fine cooking and his own handcrafted spirits. That's cultural heritage." Catherine scoffed. "Cultural heritage? Mr. Walker, tonight's charity gala has an important guest, the owner of a top French vineyard, who specifically brought their prized brandy. If you don't even understand red wine, you might cause offense." Just then, a foreign man in a tuxedo with a small mustache walked over. He was indeed the vineyard owner, Louis. Louis understood Catherine's words. He looked at me, his eyes carrying a hint of disdain. "This Mr. Walker, does he scorn my wine?" Louis asked in fluent English. I looked at Louis, and a sudden image flashed in my mind. Myself in a simple workshop, brewing spirits with a few old men. "Mr. Louis, it's not scorn, it's just not my preference," I said calmly. "Your burgundy red wine has complex layers of aroma, but it lacks a soul." At my words, the entire room was stunned. Catherine's eyes widened suddenly. She never expected me to dare contradict Louis to his face. Louis's face was beet red. "Mr. Walker, please explain what is soul." I pointed to his wine. Wine talks of terroir, of vintage, but ultimately, it's machine-pressed, industrially fermented. It lacks a human touch. Like this glass of yours, though priceless, when you drink it, there's only the taste of money, no story. Louis was so angry his mustache seemed to bristle. Jessica nervously tugged my sleeve, whispering, "Babe, stop talking." I gave her a reassuring look. My body instinctively told me I could handle this. "Mr. Louis, I have a suggestion." I scanned the room, my voice suddenly confident and composed. "Since you've brought Western fine spirits, perhaps I can bring an Eastern delicacy, and we can have an East meets West spirits cultural exchange." Catherine scoffed. "Ethan Walker, what do you plan to conjure up a delicacy?" I looked at Jessica. "Sweetheart, bring up that jug of aged family reserve my dad gave me from the trunk of the car." Jessica paused for a moment, but then immediately nodded, her eyes full of unconditional trust. "Okay, babe, I'll go right now." Catherine watched Jessica's retreating back, her eyes filled with confusion and disdain. "Ethan Walker, you plan to challenge Mr. Louis's brandy with a jug of that?" "Yes. Spirits are for making friends, not for proving superiority." 10 minutes later, Jessica, with 2 bodyguards, carried in a rustic clay jug. The seal on the jug was dry and cracked, but the rich, mellow aroma instantly permeated the entire ballroom. It wasn't just any aroma. It was the profound richness of aged grain fermentation steeped in time. Lewis sharply sniffed, and an expression of surprise spread across his face. I personally opened the seal and poured the aged spirit into a decanter. The liquor was amber-colored, clear and bright. "Mr. Lewis, please." I handed him a glass of the spirit. Lewis picked up the glass, first smelled it, then carefully took a sip. His eyes widened suddenly, as if he'd been electrocuted. What is this spirit?" Lewis's voice trembled with disbelief. Catherine stood nearby, her face pale. The scene of Ethan being humiliated that she had envisioned hadn't materialized. Instead, this aroma had thrown off her rhythm. "This is a special aged family reserve, a unique recipe from my family. My father improved upon the traditional methods, using decades-old heirloom grains, fermented with ancient techniques, and then aged in our cellar for 30 years, I explained. I had amnesia, but my understanding of this spirit felt etched into my soul. Lewis drained the glass, a look of pure rapture on his face. "It has a story. It has life." Lewis excitedly grabbed my arm. "Mr. Walker, I take back what I said earlier. Your spirit truly has a soul." Lewis turned to Catherine, his tone serious. "Ms. Thorne, your understanding of spirits is far too narrow-minded. A true connoisseur isn't blinded by price or origin." Catherine was publicly slapped down by Lewis, her cheeks flushing red then paling. She had intended to use Lewis to humiliate me, but instead, I had directly used a single jug of spirit to gain the endorsement of a powerful third party. Jessica winked at me, her eyes full of the pride that said, "I knew you could do it." Lewis immediately announced that he would replace the top-tier brandy he brought tonight with this aged spirit as the culminating item for the charity auction. "Mr. Walker, would you be willing to part with this spirit?" Lewis asked. "Of course. Charity comes first," I said with a smile. In the end, this aged spirit fetched an astonishingly high price, with all proceeds donated to Jessica's charity foundation. After the gala, I became the center of attention. Catherine stood in a corner, watching me surrounded by people, watching Jessica lean against me, smiling sweetly. For the first time in years, her long-guarded heart felt a sharp pang. She had always believed that career was the only value. But Ethan, this man who lied flat, had effortlessly gained money, respect, and an angelic lover. "Ethan Walker, who exactly are you?" Catherine murmured to herself. The next day, news about CEO Walker's aged spirit fetch's astounding price once again topped the trending topics. Trending meme: CEO Walker didn't get out of bed today either, but his spirits are on fire. Walker Industries stock again hit its daily limit. Alex shouted excitedly on the phone. "Mr. Walker, your cultural output this time was a huge success. We've decided to completely pivot Walker Industries' tourism and culture division towards American craft spirit culture." Me. Inner monologue. I just wanted a drink. My lying flat life became exceptionally sweet and busy thanks to Jessica. "Babe, come shopping with me." "Babe, come see the stray animals with me." Jessica was not only an angel, but also a pampered daddy's girl who was passionate about charity. One time, we went to Pet Hospital to visit an injured stray dog. The dog had been cruelly harmed and was aggressive, not letting anyone near it. Jessica's heart ached and tears welled up, but she didn't dare approach it. "Babe, you try. You're strong. Can you pick him up?" Jessica looked at me pitifully. I walked closer to the dog. It immediately bared its teeth and let out a low growl. I crouched down, not rashly extending my hand, but simply watching it quietly. In my mind, a scene suddenly flashed. I was in the wilderness, using primal hunting skills to subdue a wild wolf. I took a deep breath and let out a low growl, mimicking a wolf. The stray dog instantly quieted, looking at me with startled eyes, filled with submission. I gently extended my hand and stroked its head. It didn't resist. Instead, it rubbed against my palm. Jessica gasped in surprise, softly screaming, "Oh my gosh, babe, you tamed him." I picked up the dog with one hand, and it obediently nestled in my arms. "Sweetheart, let's adopt him," I said. "Yes, he's named Rusty. From now on, He's our adorable sidekick. Jessica excitedly hugged my arm. Rusty seemed to really like Jessica. He stuck out his tongue and licked Jessica's cheek. Jessica immediately took out her phone, snapped a photo of us with Rusty, and posted it on her social media. Caption: "My babe, not only can he carry me, but he can also tame wild beasts." Public announcement of our relationship. Her feed instantly exploded. Jessica's best friend A. Jess, you're so over the top, but I'm super jealous. Walker Industries exec B. So Mr. Walker's animal taming skills are also a strategy. I get it now. Under Jessica's unconditional affection, I felt an extreme sense of happiness. No matter what outrageous thing I did, she would choose to trust me implicitly. Just as I was enjoying this sweetness, Alex called again. Mr. Walker, this is bad. Catherine Thorne has discovered a fatal flaw in one of our projects, and she's preparing to hold a press conference to expose us. I frowned. A fatal flaw? What flaw? I asked. It's that chip company you just for fun invested in earlier. Their core technology actually has an algorithm flaw that, once widely implemented, will cause system crashes. Alex said anxiously. This flaw was something Catherine Thorne had used all her connections to uncover, digging for 3 days and 3 nights. Mr. Walker, please think of a solution quickly. We can't let Catherine Thorne succeed. Alex pleaded. I looked at Rusty, sleeping soundly in my arms, then at Jessica, who was worried about me. I had amnesia. How could I possibly know about an algorithm flaw? Just as I was at my wit's end, Jessica suddenly leaned in. Babe, what's wrong? You look really agitated. I briefly explained the situation to her. Jessica listened, her eyes flashing. Babe, do you trust me? She asked. Of course I do, I said without hesitation. Good. Then you continue to lie flat. Leave this to me. Jessica's voice suddenly became firm and intelligent. I looked at Jessica, a little surprised. Wasn't she a pampered daddy's girl? Sweetheart, what are you planning to do? I asked. Jessica gave a mysterious smile. Have you forgotten, besides loving to touch your abs, I also love playing games? She pulled out her phone and opened an interface. It was an extremely complex coding interface. I minored in computer science in college. I'm not just someone who can code. I'm a top-tier hacker, Jessica whispered. I was stunned. My angelic girlfriend had a hidden hacker skill. I don't usually show it off because I don't think code has any sweetness to it. But for my babe, I'm willing. Jessica's eyes were full of exclusive possessiveness. She started working in front of me, her fingers flying, code streaming across the screen. Catherine Thorne's press conference was scheduled for 3 p.m. Jessica had to find and fix that algorithm flaw within 2 hours. Jessica typed away, chatting with me to relax. Babe, remember? You used to say you loved it most when I helped you solve problems. I had amnesia, but my heart was saying, yes, I do. Catherine Thorne thinks she's found your weakness, but she doesn't know that my weakness is my ace in the hole, Jessica said confidently. 2:50 p.m. Catherine Thorne stood at the press conference, facing countless cameras and flashes, her expression stern and confident. Ladies and gentlemen, today I will expose the fatal flaw in Walker Industries' new energy chip. Their algorithm contains a logical loophole that will lead to. Just as Catherine was about to reveal the core data, the projection screen in front of her suddenly went black. Immediately after, a striking line of text appeared on the screen. Ms. Catherine Thorne, the flaw you found has already been patched by me. Your ex-fiancé's sweetheart. The entire room erupted in an uproar. Catherine's face instantly went whiter than paper. She stared at the screen in horror, her fingers trembling. Her technical team immediately started checking the network. What's going on? Who hacked the system? The technicians were dripping with sweat. Ms. Thorne, the attacker, is a top-tier expert. Not only did she patch the flaw, but she also implanted an untraceable backdoor. We were counter-hacked. Catherine completely collapsed. All her efforts, all her hard work, had been instantly neutralized by Jessica in a sweet yet domineering manner. She knew this was Jessica's way of showing her who was boss. Jessica looked at the feedback on her phone and smugly raised an eyebrow at me. Done. Babe, I saw the big problem for you. A strong surge of love and gratitude filled my heart. Sweetheart, you're truly my goddess. I hugged her tight. whispering in her ear. Alex's call came in again, his voice choked with emotion. Mr. Walker, you're incredible. You anticipated Catherine Thorne would attack technologically, so you had Ms. Miller hide her strength. This is a deadly strike in the name of love. Me? Yes, exactly. Inner monologue. I just wanted to fall in love with my sweetheart. Catherine Thorne's press conference turned into a farce. Not only did she fail to bring down Walker Industries, but due to this fiasco, Thorne Enterprises' reputation suffered. Catherine sat in her office, leaning back in her chair, exhausted. She looked at the sweet photos of Jessica and Ethan on her phone, her heart filled with bitterness. She suddenly realized that what she had lost wasn't a business competition, but life itself. I took Jessica to a newly opened hot pot restaurant. After losing my memory, my interest in various cuisines seemed to have intensified. Babe, try this tripe. 7 Up. 8 down, is it crunchy? Jessica picked a piece for me. We were enjoying our meal when suddenly a commotion broke out in the hot pot restaurant. A drunk man rushed in, holding a knife, apparently having a grudge with the owner and wanting to cause trouble. Everyone get out, or I'll stab him, the drunk man yelled. The surrounding diners screamed in fright, scattering to hide. Jessica's face went pale too, and she gripped my arm tightly. Babe, her voice was choked with tears. I stood up, shielding Jessica behind me. My body, in that moment, showed no hesitation or fear. My muscles instantly tensed, entering a combat-ready state. In my mind, another scene flashed. I was in a dark training ground, using martial arts to instantly take down an opponent. I had amnesia, but it seemed I possessed top-tier combat skills. Sweetheart, don't be scared, I'm here, I softly reassured her. The drunk man saw me and charged, swinging his knife. I didn't dodge. Instead, I shifted my body and, with lightning speed, grabbed his wrist. I twisted hard, and the knife in the drunk man's hand clattered to the floor. Then, with a sweep kick, I knocked the drunk man to the ground. The entire process took less than 3 seconds. The surrounding diners were dumbfounded, then burst into enthusiastic applause. Jessica ran out from behind me, hugging my arm, her eyes filled with admiration and lingering fear. Babe, you're amazing. A hero saving the damsel. My heart pounded, not from the fight, but from her hug. Protecting you is my instinct. I leaned down and kissed the top of her head. The police arrived and took the drunk man away. We continued eating hot pot. Jessica served me food, her eyes full of affection. Babe, are you hurt anywhere? She anxiously checked my arm. No, don't worry. Jessica suddenly leaned close to me, whispering, Babe, you were so hot just now. I've decided to reward you. She leaned down and softly kissed my abs on my chest. I felt a jolt of electricity instantly course through my body, nearly overturning the hot pot table. Sweetheart, Shoo. We'll continue the reward when we get home. Jessica smiled like a cunning fox. Ever since the hero saving the damsel incident at the hot pot restaurant, Jessica's dependence and possessiveness towards me reached their peak. She loved to cling to me constantly, taking little liberties. For example, waking up in the morning, she'd measure my circumference with her hands. Babe, feels like you've gotten even bigger. Or, when we watch movies together, she'd use my arm as a pillow, then secretly play with my firm arm muscles. I realized that my amnesiac life was completely planned out by her, full of sweetness and excitement. One day, Jessica dragged me to a high society gathering. The host of this gathering was none other than Catherine Thorne's mother. Mrs. Thorne, a typical socialite, had always been displeased with me, the useless son-in-law. The moment she saw me, Mrs. Thorne took Catherine's hand and said pointedly, Catherine, look, some people, besides having a pretty face and some muscles, have nothing else. She deliberately raised her voice so everyone around could hear. Catherine stood by, silent, but a hint of weariness in her eyes. Jessica immediately bristled. She linked her arm through mine and retorted without hesitation. Mrs. Thorne, that's not fair. Babe's face and muscles are top tier. And he has money, he has love, and he has me. Jessica openly showed her favoritism towards me, without reservation, right to Mrs. Thorne's face. Mrs. Thorne's face turned green with anger. Jessica Miller, Don't be so arrogant. Ethan has amnesia. He doesn't even know who he is. Who knows? Maybe when his memory returns, he'll dump you. Jessica listened, then suddenly smiled sweetly. Mrs. Thorne, do you think I'm not worthy of Ethan? Of course. My daughter is the... Jessica cut her off. She reached out and gently touched my cheek. Babe, tell me, who do you like? Who do you love? I looked into Jessica's clear and resolute eyes, without a moment's hesitation. I love Sweetheart. I only trust what my body tells me. I reached out and pulled Jessica into my embrace. This action instantly ignited the atmosphere in the room. The young women watching once again covered their mouths, squealing, "Oh my gosh, that's way too much PDA." Mrs. Thorne trembled with rage, pointing at me, speechless for a long moment. Catherine watched the scene, her eyes complex. She saw the undisguised affection I had for Jessica, something she had never received from me. She suddenly recalled a sentence I'd said to her before my amnesia. Catherine, you're too exhausting. We're not a good fit. At the time, she thought I was just making excuses. Now she understood. What I wanted was the unconditional sweetness Jessica offered, the relaxed and carefree life of lying flat, not the high pressure and competition that Catherine brought. Just as Mrs. Thorne was about to explode, an old man with a goatee walked over. He was Mr. Henderson, the most respected figure in the city's financial world. Mr. Henderson saw me, immediately burst into laughter, and walked over to pat my shoulder. Ethan, you rascal. You lost your memory and still managed to run the company so successfully. I am impressed. Mr. Henderson looked at Mrs. Thorne, his tone carrying a hint of displeasure. Mrs. Thorne, I watched Ethan grow up. Though he might seem to play around, his heart is pure. And his business acumen, even I, an old man, feel inferior to it. Stop listening to those rumors. Mr. Henderson's strong backing instantly defused Mrs. Thorne's anger. Mrs. Thorne's face completely fell. She never expected even Mr. Henderson to be on my side. I looked at Catherine. Her eyes were filled with disappointment and regret. She finally understood that the real me was not the playboy she had once looked down upon. After Mr. Henderson left, I pulled Jessica and we left the gathering. Sweetheart, you were so fierce today. I praised. Jessica nestled in my arms, whispering, "For my babe, I'd do anything." We returned home, and Rusty immediately ran to greet us, circling Jessica's feet, letting out affectionate whines. The adorable sidekick was proving highly effective. That evening, we snuggled on the sofa, watching a movie. Jessica suddenly remembered something and pulled out her phone to show me. Babe, look, these are our old photos. In the photos, I was wearing athletic gear, teaching Jessica yoga. My arm muscles were clearly defined, and Jessica was smiling like a flower. Jessica pointed to one photo. Look at this one. You used to specially learn cooking to cheer me up, and you made me the most complex gourmet dish. I looked at the photo, my heart stirred. I had amnesia, but my love for gourmet food and my love for her were etched into my instincts. You used to tell me that the hardest dish in the world isn't about how complex the technique is, but how intense the love is. Jessica's voice was soft. I suddenly realized that my pre-amnesia self loved Jessica even more than I did now. Sweetheart, I'm going to cook for you right now, I said. I walked into the kitchen and started cooking. Although I had amnesia, my body remembered every step. I skillfully chopped vegetables, stirred and fried, my movements fluid and practiced. Jessica stood at the kitchen doorway, watching my back, her eyes full of love. Babe, you're so wonderful. I made a table full of dishes, all in Jessica's favorite flavors. As we ate, Jessica suddenly asked me a question. Babe, if one day you regained your memory and found out you actually disliked me before, what would you do? I put down my chopsticks and looked at her seriously. Sweetheart, I have amnesia now. I don't know the past, but I know my body tells me that when I'm near you, I get excited, I'm happy, I want to protect you. I held her hand. Even if I regain my memory, I would choose to trust this present feeling. Because love isn't about memories, it's about the feeling in this moment. Jessica's eyes welled up with tears. She threw herself into my arms. Babe, I'll love you forever. My amnesia caused a stir in the business world. Although Catherine Thorne had been humiliated multiple times, she still hadn't given up. She found my former psychologist, attempting to uncover my true weaknesses through my medical records. Alex informed me of this. Mr. Walker, Catherine Thorne is collecting evidence of your past Playboy days. She wants to prove you're unfit to lead Walker Industries and then use the board of directors to sideline you. I lay by Jessica's pool, basking in the sun. Let her investigate. I'm tired. I don't want to deal with it. Alex, Mr. Walker, this is another one of your build-up to a climax strategies, isn't it? You want her to reveal all her cards, then strike a fatal blow. Me? Yes, exactly that. Inner monologue. I really just want to lie down. Alex immediately went to make arrangements. He had the PR department deliberately leak some of my past reckless rumors to lure Catherine Thorne into the trap. Catherine Thorne indeed fell for it. 3 days later, Thorne Enterprises convened a board meeting targeting Walker Industries. At the meeting, Catherine presented my pre-amnesia psychological report, accusing me of unstable mental health and being unsuitable to serve as CEO. Distinguished directors, Ethan Walker was a playboy before, and now with amnesia, he is even less capable of bearing such a heavy responsibility. I propose that Thorne Enterprises temporarily manage Walker Industries until Ethan recovers. The board members exchanged glances, some wavering. Just then, I, dressed in casual clothes, along with Jessica and Rusty, pushed open the conference room door. My appearance shocked Catherine and all the directors. Ethan Walker, what are you doing here? Catherine's face darkened. I held Jessica's hand and walked to the conference table, Rusty obediently sitting at my feet. I hear someone has an issue with my lying flat lifestyle. My tone was relaxed, but carried an undeniable authority. I looked at Catherine. Ms. Thorne, you went to great lengths to prove I have mental issues, trying to take over my company. I'm just doing this for Walker Industries' future, Catherine argued. Future? I scoffed. Do you think a company that relies on endless competition and schemes to barely survive has a future? I looked at Alex. Alex immediately presented the latest financial report. Distinguished directors, these are Walker Industries' financial figures since Mr. Walker began lying flat. After Mr. Walker decentralized power, executive competition intensified severely, efficiency increased by 300%, and profits quadrupled. Mr. Walker has proven with facts that a true leader doesn't micromanage but sets the direction. Then lets capable people do their job. Alex's words left the board members dumbfounded. An older director excitedly said, Ethan, you truly have great wisdom hidden in simplicity. I looked at Catherine, her face pale, all her pride shattered. Catherine Thorne, do you see? What you perceived as a weakness was actually my strategy. I simply chose a more comfortable, more efficient approach. Jessica stepped forward and in front of everyone, gently leaned her head on my shoulder. Babe, you're too tired. Let's go home. They can handle the company. Catherine Thorne watched Jessica's undisguised dependence and affection towards me, and her heart felt pierced by an ice pick. She had always believed that she and Ethan were the same kind of people, machines bound by family destiny. She viewed emotions as a weakness and career as everything. But now, Ethan, with his lying flat and Jessica's sweet devotion, told her, you were wrong. Ethan, Catherine's voice caught in her throat. This was the first time she had shown vulnerability in public. Ms. Thorne, if you need a break, I can arrange a vacation for you, I said calmly, without mockery, only a condescending pity. Catherine suddenly looked up, staring at me, her eyes filled with regret. Did I misunderstand you before? She asked. It doesn't matter anymore, I said. What matters is that you know the truth now. Catherine didn't argue further. She knew she had completely lost. She had lost to Ethan's wisdom, and even more so, to Jessica's love. She turned and left the conference room in defeat. The board ultimately voted unanimously for me to continue as CEO, but Alex Shun was appointed executive CEO, fully responsible for daily operations. I would continue to lie flat. After the meeting, Jessica pulled me away from Walker Industries. Babe, where are we going? Jessica asked. To brew some spirits, I said. We returned to the Miller's estate, and I led Jessica to my favorite underground cellar, which I vaguely remembered from before my amnesia. The cellar was filled with various homemade aged whiskeys, bourbons, and fruit brandies. I picked up a jug of an aged spirit, skillfully opening the seal. "Sweetheart, try this." Jessica took a sip, her eyes lighting up. "So sweet, even sweeter than that special aged family reserve you had before." "Because this batch I made just for you," I said. I pulled her into my arms, hugging her tightly. "Sweetheart, I have amnesia, but my love for you is my body's instinct. From now on, let's brew spirits together, work out together, and lie flat together, okay?" Jessica looked up, her eyes glistening with happy tears. "Yes, I'll always be your sweetheart, and you'll always be my babe." She stood on tiptoes and kissed my lips. The kiss was sweet and lingering, more potent than any fine spirit. Epilogue, wedding night. The wedding was grand. Catherine Thorne didn't attend, but she sent someone with a gift, a jug of an aged spirit she had personally brewed. Jessica looked at the jug, a hint of sympathy in her eyes. "Babe, Ms. Thorne." She started learning to lie flat too. I smiled, saying nothing. Our wedding night. Jessica, wearing a sexy silk nightgown, waited for me in bed. "Babe, were you very tired today?" she asked. "Not tired. I'm very excited," I said, looking at her, the heat in my body reaching its peak. I walked over and gathered her into my arms. "Sweetheart, tonight we don't talk about work. Only love." Jessica wrapped her arms around my neck, breathing softly into my ear. "Oh yeah, babe, didn't you say your body only reacts to me?" "It does." I lowered my head and kissed her lips. The atmosphere in the room instantly heated up. Jessica felt my passion and let out a sweet, soft sigh. She suddenly pushed me back a little, her eyes hazy. "Babe, are you really 8 inches and can last half an hour?" she asked. I didn't answer. I showed her the answer with my actions. A night of sweet devotion, utterly intertwined. The next morning, I woke up to find Jessica nestled in my arms like a kitten, sleeping soundly. I looked at the sunlight streaming through the window, feeling that my life, finally, had transformed from the hardships of my last life into the sweet indulgence of this one. I had amnesia, but I had won the world by lying flat, and I had won the woman I loved most. The end.